Hello and welcome to the Adventures of LBZ. I am Lance Collins, and if you are new to this channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like button. In today's video, it's just basically a day in the life of a technician. I'll do some, we'll do a few tires that will balance out. I think I ended up bleeding the clutch out on a VTX and putting a slave cylinder on it. Setting a couple, bikes up, basically just hooking the batteries and stuff up if we've already set them up. But yeah, just kind of a day-to-day shot of what goes on in a Honda technician's life. Also, a shout out to Gus Two Wheeling. I was actually in the process of making this video at work, and he stopped in, a subscriber of mine, and said hi. So yeah, shout out to him. If you haven't checked his channel out, definitely go check it out. So if you're new to these videos, when I'm doing them at work, I don't use any of the background audio. I just, for privacy reasons at work there. Plus there's too many radios. In different departments you go to, there's always some kind of radio playing. So yeah, for copyright stuff there and people's privacies, I just do a little voiceover and play some of the free YouTube music. So what I'm doing here is these wheels I had actually mounted tires on the day previous, and the customer actually took his rotors and stuff off of them. So when you balance them out with these machines, they don't really balance out correctly if you don't leave the rotors on there, because you essentially have the weight hanging off one side of the wheel. So you need to balance them with the rotors and the bolts and stuff in there. So that's what I'm doing now, and I think I get lucky with a couple of these wheels here, and I get to reuse some of their clip-on weights, and I didn't have to put stick-on stuff on there. So yeah, some of them balanced out without even having weights, which is nice too. And a little off subject from the motorcycles, I've had a couple people message me and ask me what camera I use or what video editing software, blah blah blah. So maybe I'll do a video one day on exactly what I use. But so what I use as far as cameras, I just use a GoPro, the Hero 9 Black. That's mainly what I use at work. I also have a DJI Osmos Pocket. I use that more on like some B shots, but not really on stuff I'm doing at actual work, like the PDI videos and like the day-to-day stuff. So as far as editing stuff, I use LumaFusion, and I use I did have a MacBook Pro, but I got rid of that because the new iPad Pros are freaking amazing and super powerful. So that's what I'm using now. Back to what we're doing here. So this is actually a Supermoto wheel off of one of the new brand new Husky Supermoto bikes. I can't remember what size it was, but might have been, I think it was a 501 or something like that. But yeah, I had to put a new tire on it. They were taking it out and doing a track day, and again, they brought it in without the damn rotor on it. So they wanted me to go ahead and balance it without the rotor on there anyway. So I went ahead and did it. This wheel, I think, is some kind of composite. It is a tubeless wheel on a spoked, it's a spoked wheel, but it's tubeless, so it's actually pretty cool. You just have to be really easy whenever you're mounting the tires up on them, because you don't want to scuff or crack this wheel at all, because it could be fragile. And if you're new to using a tire machine, if you watch there, I just did a little thing that can save you some time. Noticed whenever I started to spin it, I followed the tire with another spoon and caught it and kept it down in the drop center, and it makes the tire go on so much easier, especially whenever you're trying not to damage any kind of wheel. If you got a carbon wheel or even aluminum or nice chrome wheels, you can use it too. You just got to be really careful with the spoons. Make sure you don't scratch any of the chromes or painted wheels. But yeah, pro tip right there if you're new to using this style of machine. If you have this machine and you do it on a day-to-day basis, you have your own tricks. There's tricks to all of it. You'll see there's different ways. I even mount tires that have tubes differently on this machine than I would, somebody else at my shop or whatever doing the same thing might do it differently. Everybody has their own ways and reasons why they do it. So, yeah. Another thing you notice is I always keep the weights that were on the wheel before, I put the tire and stuff on there. I keep whatever was on there. That way, if you line the valve stems up and everything, sometimes, it's not just a tire that was out before. It could be an imperfection in the wheel or whatnot. It could be, out of true. But yeah, I leave them on there, throw them on the machine, see where it balances out. If it shows directly 180 degrees, away from the weights that you have to add the same amount of weight that is on the bottom of that, then you just scrape the weights off and throw it, rebalance it again, and then it may be zeroed completely out. It could have been the tire that was on there before that was just that bad. But yeah, for the most part, I try to keep the weights on there. That's what I did in this case. But this one here, the tire was just kind of bad that was on there before. So I ended up peeling the weights that they had on the wheel off. And this one did not need any weight at all to be balanced out. And as you'll see, when this thing stops spinning, it'll zero out. Didn't need any weights. I just scraped the other ones off. So yeah, easy as that on that one. And you're probably getting ready to say, not another damn tire, but that's what I was saying. I got hit with like 3 or 4 of them in a row right when I got to work that morning. So yeah, better to get them done first thing, get them out of the way. This thing was off of like an old 1979 GS or something. So I think it was the original, it might have been the original tire and everything on this thing, to be honest with you. But it was just, I don't know if it was the original tire. I know that the original rim strip and stuff was in there, and it looked like cherry. This bike does not get rode at all. It's kind of almost museum show quality there. But yeah, they wanted me to put a new tube and another one of these tires on it, so I go ahead and break the tire down, put it on the machine there, get the tube out of it, take the tire off. like I say, normally I would replace the rim strips on all these whenever you're doing them, but this one, being that it's not really getting rode, they kind of wanted to keep that original one in there, just because the bike is all original. Other than now, it's got a tube from 2022 in it, but. And I just marked that white line on the other side. There's a red dot on the other side of the tire that is where you're supposed to line the valve stem up for, balancing purposes of the wheel. When they mold it, that's, I guess, maybe where the heavy spot of the wheel or light spot is, vice versa. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get this tire on here, and then I'll get the tube in. What I do with the tube is I usually put a little air in it, and I put some silicone, or if you have some baby powder or anything like that too, you can put a little bit of that on the tube, and what that does is just keeps it from getting caught and pinched whenever you're using spoons, or even with a tire machine if you're going to use a tire machine. Alright, so if you are new to this channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Also, if you liked this video, please hit the like button. Not going to go too in depth on what I'm doing in this video. It's not really meant to be a tutorial video. Just kind of a view of what goes on, as we're at work day to day. This is only probably, in reality, probably the first hour of my morning. Hour and a half, I guess, maybe. And yes, I am using spoons to put this tire on. For some reason, I just never have good luck with a tube tire using the machine without tearing the actual valve stem or anything. Even if I leave it as loose as can be in there, I still end up pinching it or something. So I've always had good luck just taking the spoons and spinning the tire on. I still use the tire machine for assistance, but yeah, not too bad of one right there. You just make sure you get it in the drop center, and usually just goes right on. And finally done with tires and on to putting some bikes back together. They're not really putting them together, but hooking the batteries up on them. And these are ones that we had already put together. Just making sure the battery is completely charged up on it. Just a final PDI because it's actually leaving to go with the customer. So yeah, I was just putting the battery cover back on because I was just making sure that it was fully charged up. And double check the oil and the tire pressure and setting this one out on the road with the customer. And now on to a VTX 1800 that I needed to put a clutch slave cylinder on and, bleed the actual clutch master cylinder and the clutch system out. So yeah, go ahead and remove this cover. That'll give me access to the slave cylinder behind it. I'll remove the 12 millimeter bolt. I think it's a 12 or a 14 actually. I can't remember, but yeah, either way. Remove the bolt that goes into the from the line, the actual banjo bolt, into the slave cylinder. Remove the 3 bolts. One of them, actually 2 of them, were actually damaged because I had already taken this thing apart prior. That it might have been later or earlier that week, sometime there. I had taken it apart and diagnosed this thing and actually had pushed the cup out in the inside, and you couldn't get it to bleed out. So the bolts were damaged, so I got some new bolts for it to put in there, and we'll get this thing out of there and retorqued in and bled, and this guy will be back on the road. And now to hook up the bleeder, and what we'll do is, I had actually tried to bleed this before, so the fluid that was in there was, just a couple days old. So I went ahead and, instead of vacuuming the line back out again, I went ahead and just pulled it back down from the master cylinder up top, and added new fluid, and just, basically ran a bottle through it there to get any air bubbles or anything out of the system, and it pumped up just fine. Clutch worked great on this thing. This bike actually had some apparently had some pretty big work to it. I think it had big bore kit and some cams and stuff. It was, whenever I took it out for its little test ride, it definitely ran a lot better than a normal VTX 1800 would. And actually, somebody walked into the frame and was in there while I was torquing the master cylinder and just going over, or the slave cylinder and the rest of the bolts. But yeah, I had to cut to where I was putting the cover on and final torquing the cover again. But yeah, I got it bled out, and yeah, that's it for that one. That's going to be it for this video also. I'll let it play out. There's a couple more minutes left of cleaning up and stuff here. But yes, again, thanks for watching. If you're new to this channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Also, if you liked this video, please hit the like button. As always, thanks and have a great day.